and get into it, y'all. I got 10 tips that you have to consider on the way to your home buying journey. We already know that the housing market right now is on fire, and looking for homes can feel stressful because the inventory is low. Trying to negotiate the right deal with the right real estate agent can feel like high stress. I want to tell you the things that they want in a meme. It sounds cute for a meme to say, don't wait to buy land and wait, right? That sounds cute, right? But what they really need to be talking about is what is the process, right, to getting from renter to homeowner. I want to teach you the things that they don't drop in the 5 or 6 words that they use in a meme. And I want you to get your pens and pencils down because this is going to go really fast. So let's go ahead and get started, right? Before I started shopping for a home, I said, this month I'm going to buy a home. That was March. I started planning 90 days in advance. And the reason why it's important for you to start your journey 90 days in advance is because you're going to have to get your credit and also your finances in formation. There are specific things that your real estate agent and also your lender are going to request of you as new and potential home buyers. And you want to make sure that you give yourself time enough to fix those things that require your attention and improve those things that are good, turning them to excellent. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about, and the first thing that I needed to fix was credit, right? So today I said, how can you buy a home with bad credit? You can definitely buy a home with bad credit, but you'll probably be paying high interest rates. And that's why it's important for you to go into your credit journey, right? So trying to fix your credit journey in 90 days. There are 2 things that I did in 90 days to boost my score from a 670 to a 760. Hold on, because y'all missed that. So I need to get my braid, and I'm going to flip it on y'all's behalf. I boosted my credit score from a 670 to a 670 to a 760 in less than 90 days. And I want to give you 2 credit hacks that you can employ as a potential home buyer that you can do without the assistance of hiring a credit repair agency. The first thing that you need to do is you need to pull your credit report that allows you to see your FICO credit score. Now, I understand that there are credit agencies out there, like credit reporting agencies, that allow you to see a credit score. But understand there are 2 credit scores. There's your Vantage score and there's your FICO score. Your mortgage lender is going to be looking at your FICO 8 mortgage score. And so, yes, you could pull your credit report for free at freecreditreport.com, but I highly recommend that you go with one of the credit bureaus. For me, I pulled my credit report from Experian, and I specifically paid, I think it was $29.99, in order to see what my mortgage score would be. All right, so it's important for you to know that there's a difference between just your credit score. You want to look at your FICO score, and you want to pay the money to see your Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion mortgage FICO scores. Once you pull the credit report and see your scores, you want to identify those things that you need to fix. There are 2 issues that you can fix immediately. The first issue is late payments, especially when they are less than 90 days, all right? Someone asked about Credit Karma. Credit Karma gives you your Vantage score, which is a legitimate credit score, but that's used with cars. You want to look for your FICO score. You can get your FICO score at Experian, TransUnion, and also Equifax. You can also get it from FICO.com, I believe, all right? So that's the answer on Credit Karma. Love Credit Karma, but Credit Karma gives you the Vantage score, not the FICO score. Now, the thing that you can fix within the next 2 weeks is any 30 or 60-day late payments that you have. One hack that worked for me within a 48-hour period was writing a letter to the CEO of a financial institution that had reported one of my credit card payments late. Yes, Professor Keys is not perfect, right? Don't point fingers at me, point fingers at yourself, right? Look, God ain't through with me yet. I'm still growing. Yes, I am a wealth evangelist, but a wealth evangelist has to learn how to turn obstacles into opportunities. Let's flip another braid on that point. So you want to write a letter to the CEO of your financial institution. It will not be easy for you to find this information, okay? It's almost like saying email Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg has not put his email address and his phone number in his latest Facebook status update. But the way in which I found my CEO's information is I called up the helpline and I asked for the receptionist email. Why did I ask for the receptionist email? Because that's going to give you the blueprint to the CEO's email. Is it first name dot last name at financial.org? Is it the first letter of the first name and the last name at financial.org? You want to figure out what that formula is, and you want to use it to your advantage. What you want to put in that letter is that your late payment, if it's true, has been affected by COVID, by social distancing, by downsizing, and by your income being reduced over the past year. During this time, CEOs have become incredibly ambivalent to people like you and I who have experienced financial hits because we haven't been able to earn income in the same way that we did before the economy closed. Yes, you were earning a separate but unequal paycheck, but now Becky, right? Becky, she can't come over to your office, but she can still play a little bit with that check. So, some companies have downsized, I get it. Some companies haven't given bonuses, I get it. Some companies have cut hours, I get it. And some companies have completely laid people off. Put that in your letter. When I sent my letter, I got a response in less than 24 hours and my payment was removed by the end of the week, right? My late payment was removed by the end of the week. 30-day late payments can be removed immediately. 60-day late payments may require up to 30 days. The second thing that you want to do, if you want to raise your score in less than 90 days, I did this as well, is you want to find an authorized user with exceptional credit history, not just a credit score, because there's some people out here perping with the 700 credit score, but they got a 400 score credit history. Some of y'all missed that. That means they got to 700 yesterday, but for the past 10 years, they've been on 400. So you want to find somebody with an exceptional credit history, and you want to ask them if they will add you as an authorized user. Before you ask that question, you want to make sure that the credit card that they add you to reports authorized users, right? Reports credit to authorized users' accounts. So that means as much as they're reporting their good history payment to the person who's adding you, that good history, right, and paying on time and having low utilization rates is also being paid on your credit. So it's almost like getting a good credit inheritance overnight. Why did I do this? Professor Keys, why did I do this? My utilization rates were low. My credit history was okay, but my mother, who added me as an authorized user, because she's had decades and decades in the game, she's a financial GOAT, had more credit than I did. So because she had more credit, right? So she had $150,000 in credit, and she added me on a credit card that had a $70,000 or $50,000 limit, then guess what? Even if my utilization rate was 20%, now it immediately went down. Right? It immediately went down. And as I began to pay off my own personal credit cards, I could get to a 0% utilization rate quicker, allowing me to boost my credit score faster. Also, it allowed for me, right, in addition to bringing my utilization rate low, it allowed to me to demonstrate to lenders that I had a credit history, I had a credit limit that was much higher. So perhaps my credit limit with all credit cards included was $25,000 by myself, but with my mom, it was $75,000. Somebody give it up for the mothers in the building who ain't taking their baby's social security number and opening credit accounts. The baby is only 6 years old. They got a 250 credit score. I just want to give it up for the moms. I just want to give it up for the dads. I just want to give it up for the grandmas that say, you know what, baby? I'm going to give you good credit, not a car in your name at 6 months. Let me take the braid and flip it on behalf of my mom, the financial GOAT. Okay? So those are the two things that I did to repair my credit in 90 days. And these are things that you don't need if you are doing this yourself and not employing a credit repair agency. Okay? The next thing that I did, let's move because we have to move quick, y'all. We got 10 tips, so we got through one. But I know some of y'all, you know, in your heart, you got an 800 credit score, but on paper, it's 500. So I'm just trying to get you up 100 plus points like I got myself in 90 days. So low cash, right? So I had a decent 4-figure savings account because I was investing a lot of money into my entrepreneurial endeavors, and I made a goal to get to 5 figures before I started to get serious about my homeowner journey. And one of the things that I did was I decided to practice exactly what I preach on my page every single day, that multiple streams of income is advantageous to your wealth position, right? And having one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth position. So one of the things that I like to tell people, instead of saying you need to go and get a side hustle, is to tell you exactly what side hustles you can get today, right? Today, that will allow you to save anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 in 90 days. And we're going to go through these extremely quickly. If you want to have a more in-depth tutorial, every single one of these side hustles, I've done a 30-minute video on my YouTube page. 1, be a handyman and be a handy woman. Now, I know there's some women on this live, they done rolled their eyes at me, they done threw some hair, they sucked some teeth, and some of them done took their earrings off and put some Vaseline on their knuckles because they're like, girl, I'm not handy. That's why I have a boyfriend. That's why I have Mr. Fix-It, right? He takes me to go get some cheddar biscuits at Red Lobster, then comes home and dumps my trash. Listen, we all got some handy in us, okay? Everybody got some handy in us. And the great thing about being handy is that you can, right, sell your skills on sites like Angie's List and on sites like Handy, and you can get paid jobs less than $1,000 in nearly every single state in the United States of America. All right? So ladies, this includes shelving, wallpapering, painting walls. If you can put together furniture because you and IKEA have a thing going on, right? You, Miss Jones, they the thing. Y'all got it going on, right? You can put IKEA furniture together. That is handy. Men, right? If you are handy, because I know there's some men out there that are just like, you over here talking about the ladies don't dump the trash and they don't put things together. Let me tell you something. I will take $5 in a minute and tell somebody come over here and cut this grass. Yes, I will. Because the way my sweat is set up, I can only do that on a treadmill, baby. I can only do that when I'm bench pressing 250. All right? So I know there's some guys in here that's relating to me on that. All right? So you want to make sure that you use your skills, if you have them, installing security systems, installing floors, painting cabinets. These are ways that you can make $1,000 every single weekend for the next 90 days. Uber, DoorDash, these are businesses on wheels. If you can drive yourself to work, you can drive somebody else to work. All right? Carpool. They don't have to know. Pick up a rider on the way to work, drop them off, park in the parking lot, get up to work before 9 o'clock because we on WP time, wealthy people's time, not CP time, which is broke people's time. You want to make sure that if you have social media skills that you can get on Upwork and Fiverr. Right now, there is this extreme shortage of contractors on Fiverr and Upwork that are able to operationalize their skills in such a way that they help brands grow their social media across Twitter, across Clubhouse, right? Across Instagram, across Facebook, across YouTube. Right now, there's about an 8 to 10 week wait for those people who are exceptionally talented. Personal assistant, English tutor on Cambly. You want to make sure to look into that. And finally, y'all, a dog walker. Let me tell you something. You can be a dog walker or a dog babysitter and make anywhere between $50 to $250 a weekend just by having Rover sleep in your living room. Give him a bone, give him a pillow, let him look out his window, Mrs. Massa, and get paid $75 while you go on about your business. Make sure you feed the dog. All right, so you want to make sure to side hustle your weekends into a 4-figure savings account. Let's keep going because I said we got 3 and we're on 2. Number 3, you want to research first-time home buyer programs, right? So this is before you even engage with your real estate agent. Now, you can engage with your real estate agent if you want to. They may be able to provide you some advice or assistance in first-time home buyer programs. But for me, the research was on the other side of my unmanicured fingertips, right? Google. I put in the state where I wanted to live, and I made sure to type in first-time home buyer programs. Here are things that I didn't anticipate when I looked for these programs, right? Because we're talking beyond the mean. Means will tell you common sense, advice. Go look for first-time home buyer programs because you're buying a home for what? The first time. But one of the things that they won't tell you is that there sometimes are income restrictions, right? So if you're making $70,000, $80,000 a year, you might be living in a huge metropolitan area like DC, and $80,000 feels a lot like $30,000 because the rent is $70,000. No, it's not $70,000, but you know what I'm saying? The rent is like a mortgage payment, and that's the whole reason why you buying a house anyway. But you may have income that is too high to qualify for these programs, and so you want to make sure to do your homework in advance. Some programs require you to go through classes before you even start your search. So if you're on a timeline, you want to buy a house in May and you start looking for a house in May, but the first time home buyer program requires 60 days of classes, you want to know that in advance. The last thing that you want to research is that you want to make sure, or you want to verify if your state will pay off your student loan debts in exchange for you getting a mortgage. Hold on, because I need to take this braid and flip it because some of y'all missed it. Y'all missed it because y'all was still stuck on Rover and his bone and the handyman and cheddar biscuits. I said there are some states like the state of Maryland who will pay off your student loan debt in exchange for buying a house. How is it that there are some states that will pay down debt in order for you to buy an asset? Make sure you do your research because the last thing you want to do is buy a home and find out after the fact, right? We don't want to be a day late and a mortgage short. Come on, hold on. Let me just, because I got to flip that. Hold on, just one more. Because there's people up here on this live that are like, the way that Sally Mae is in my pocket every single month. I swear that Sally Mae got a bedroom in my one bedroom house. She is sleeping in my bed. She is taking showers, running up my water bill. She is turning on the lights, and she always got her hand out. Sally, why are you charging me a mortgage when I haven't even gone shopping for a house? Go find a program that pays off your student loan debt so you can get your keys and be student loan debt free. Flip. All right, so let's keep going. That was tip number 3. Let's keep going to tip number 4. Okay? And if you're looking for states that will pay off your student loan debt in exchange for buying a mortgage, I want you to go to my Instagram page. I want you to look at my last Instagram reel. I think it's 2 or 3 removed, but it's in the first 2 rows. Let's keep going. These are the benefits of following Professor Keys. I'm going to get you right. I'm going to get them pockets right. Number 4, employment. Because there are some entrepreneurs who are feeling like their job is a jail sentence. You going to work 9 to 5, you building your business from 6 to midnight. You are pissed off that you looking over there at Bobby Joe got a high school degree. They're getting paid just as much. You got a whole master's degree. He stopped school in the 10th grade. You want to quit your job, right? You want that quit your job money. You want to go in and be like, let me tell you something. I will not be on the plantation anymore because the way the profit is set up in my business, I'm going to buy this home and I'm going to get free, right? Delay the emancipation until you sign the mortgage papers. What that means is that most lenders are going to be looking for 2 years of solid work history in the same industry, preferably with the same employers. There are some times when I will go to work, when I went to work, and I would walk up in that office and I would be like, this needs to be the last Monday that I come in and see the same people every single day. Love them to death. I love them to death. But the way my paycheck is set up, y'all don't pay me enough, baby. Y'all don't pay me enough. Hold tight until you get your mortgage. Whew. That's a word for somebody. 2 years. All right. So they're also going to ask you for pay stubs, and they're going to ask you for your W-2. So make sure that you get that paperwork right. Get the paperwork information. I had my pay stubs ready to go when I met with my lender. I also had my W-2s, plural, ready to go. And I had a few years of work history so that the lender could do what? Get his hand out my pocket. For entrepreneurs, it's going to be a little bit difficult, okay? I'm going to do a live specifically for entrepreneurs, full-time entrepreneurs who do not have 9 to 5s, who are looking for to buying a home. All right, so let's keep going. That was tip number 4. We're on 5. We got 10 to go. All right? Savings. All right, so this is important, right? I'm going to talk about savings in a non-traditional way because this is tea that my mom spilled a little bit for me when I was like, Mom, I got, I've been side hustling out here. Savings done went from 4 to 5 to high 5. I'm feeling rich. I'm feeling, I'm feeling like I got myself together, right? I'm just like, I'm about to put on, a little bit of, GTO nasties. I'm getting to the money. What? My savings account mad. Hey, right? Look, if Beyonce can do it, so can I. I said I'm getting too much money, right? Sally Mae is mad, right? Because I ain't paying her. It's in a savings account. Wait. I'm student loan debt free, but I paid Sally when I had her. But okay, I'm not paying her more than what she deserves because I was in a public student loan service program. But that's another lie for another night. 2 hacks, right? That your lender is not going to tell you, that your realtor is not going to tell you. If you come into a lump sum of money that you are not anticipating using towards your mortgage, you want to do this. Stay with me now. You want to do this. So that means you got an inheritance. Grandma had a life insurance policy, right? You got 17 kids. Tax return came back fat, came back 5 figures, right? You came into a little bit of money. The numbers hit. Grandma took you to the convenience store. Both of y'all hit the numbers. She got 5,000, you got 50, right? You gave grandma 20 because grandma, you wouldn't be here without her, but you kept 30 on the side. Put your lump sum of money in a separate account 90 days before you go shopping for a home. The reason why, and I learned this the hard way, y'all, because my mom, she'll be here in a few minutes. She'll tell you sometimes I can be a little hard-headed. I listen eventually, but in the beginning, I'm going to question a little bit. A lender will try to spend every single dollar in your savings account. You got 10K, they want to spend 10K. You got 30K, they want to spend 30K. You got 50K, they're going to try to spend every single raggedy dollar in your account. So you want to make sure that you have your money in multiple places and you report those accounts that you want the lender to count towards qualification or pre-approval for your mortgage, right? So that's for people who have a lump sum. On the other hand of having a lump sum, right? Because this can work both ways, right? You needed that lump sum because the savings was at $5. So when you hit that savings account, when you hit the lottery numbers and you won $50,000, you were like, hey, right? You was just happy, right? You was like, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the lottery money. I'm not even sure if that rhymed. What you want to do, you want to take that money, put it in your savings account, all right? Don't go shopping for a mortgage for 90 days. The reason why is if you go from $5 to $5,000, the lender's going to ask if your savings is inconsistent. And this is significant because if they think that you only came into a lump sum of money, right, for an isolated period of time, they're going to make the assumption that you're not responsible enough to carry your mortgage, right? So most lenders aren't going to go past 90 days. So whatever was in your account for at least 90 days, there will be the assumption made that it could be there. It could have been there for 9 years. It could have been there for 9 months. It could have been there for 9 minutes. Okay? That's a hack that a lot of people don't talk about. But that was almost a deal breaker for me because my lender wanted to spend every single dollar that I had saved. And I had to I was like, hold on, lender, let me just crack these knuckles. Let me put this hair, put these braids in a ponytail. Because the way I work for these savings, you can't have all of it. I want the house, but I don't want to move in house 4. All right, so let's keep going. That was 5. Let's get to number 6. All right, so we going. We getting from tip to tip. We trying to get from 1. We trying to get to 10. That was 5. Let's get to 6. Most people confuse a pre-approval letter with a pre-qualification letter. It is important for you to know the difference between being pre-approved and being pre-qualified, all right? Important, significant for you to know the difference between the two, because the difference between the two can mean the difference between you shopping for, right, a single family home that you can turn into a duplex, or a multi-unit that you can flip into a multi-unit property, right? These are processes that determine how much home you can afford. However, they are decided in different ways. A pre-qualification is what your realtor probably wants you to get immediately so that you all can start looking at homes together. But the way the pre-qualification works is that a lender is going to look at whatever you have provided, or a real estate professional rather is going to look at whatever you've provided, and they're going to provide estimates based off of what you say. Now, you already noticed, some of y'all, you like getting your 50 likes on Instagram. You got a 400 credit score, but you like telling people you got a 600, because a 400 credit score get 4 likes, but a 600 credit score get 40 likes. You know, it's some of y'all out here that, you know, y'all like telling people, oh, I'm a 6-figure. You know it comes after 6-figure. I'm a 6-figure, but if I ask your employer, you're really making $35,000. The difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval is pre-qualification takes you at your word, right? So some of you all, your word has you moving into a mansion, but the facts have you moving into a rancher. Just I flip that. Hold on, the braid got a little... Flip that braid. My braid was trying to get a pre-qualification. That's why I was being rebellious. So like a pre-qualification is based off of what you say. But a pre-approval, which is what I recommend for every potential homeowner, a pre-approval is based off of what the real estate professional knows. So it's what you say and what you know, right? So it's what you think happened and what actually happened. A pre-approval is a verification, right? They're going to verify information and make sure it's accurate. If you say you make $100,000, they're calling HR. You say you got a 600 credit score, they're pulling your credit, right? You saying that you got 50 stacks in your savings account, they in it. You know, they calling the bank. They're trying to figure this out. And the reason why this is so important is because as a potential homeowner, you don't want your eyes to be bigger than the house that you can afford. It's the same as your Thanksgiving plate. You tried to fix a plate that was 2 pounds. You fixed a plate that was 15. And now you at the gym and your booty is jiggling on the treadmill. You did that. Did nobody tell you to get 17 chicken wings and a whole 5 helpings of mac and cheese? We want pre-approval. I got pre-approved so that I knew how much house I could afford. Y'all got that? All right. Whew, child. Where my church fan at? Where my church hand? Whew, child. All right. When you're looking for pre-approval, these are the facts that people did not tell me. Lenders will try to punk you. My lender tried to punk me. You don't want to go to just one lender, right? Because there's such a thing as a nice thief. And what do I mean by a nice thief? Oh, they'll be nice to you. They'll smile at you. And they'll give you an interest rate that you don't deserve. Okay, so how do you mitigate against this? You shop around, right? Similar to how you go on Bumble. You don't just talk to the first right swipe. You got to swipe right at least 10 times and have at least 8 conversations just to get past the catfish. So like what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have multiple conversations with many different lenders so that you can understand which ones can offer the best deal for you. For me, I had conversations with credit unions. This is what you should know about credit unions is that they move slow. So if you're trying to close in 30 days, most credit unions are going to take 45 days. And that could be problematic if the interest rate that you locked in is only good for 30 days. Credit unions give great rates, but their service is slow. All right. Online lenders. You want to be wary of online lenders. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use them. My mom has a couple properties that are funded by Rocket Mortgage. However, you want to make sure when you're going with an online lender that you talk with an actual person. I got an extremely competitive rate from a credit union and an online lender, but neither one of them could talk on the phone with me after they gave me a pre-approval. That's problematic because I like to talk. So what you want to do is you want to go with a lender who will talk to you. Now, the lender who talked to me was a nice thief. And what that means is that I had to muscle him around a little bit. When you have over a 720 credit score, if you have over a 760 credit score, which is what I had, you can come in throwing some bows, right? Throwing some bows, throwing some elbows. That means you want the best interest rate. And my nice thief was trying to give me an average interest rate. So you also want to know what your credit score will bear, all right? So I use the paperwork that I got from credit unions and also online lenders in order to negotiate with the lender who picked up the phone and was able to talk to me and eventually successfully got me across the finish line. I put my bows down and I gave him a hug eventually. All right, so let's go. Let's keep going. So remember to always negotiate, okay? And you don't have to go with the first lender that gives you a pre-approval, right? So let's keep going. That was 6. Let's get to 7. Let's get to 7. Give me a heart if y'all are loving this, okay? Come on, let's see. All right, so number 7, shopping for a home, all right? Shopping for a home. So let's go. My realtor is Keith James from Coalition Properties, and he was an amazing realtor, all right? Amazing realtor. Y'all, I see the connection is not good, but we gonna have to soldier through it. Give my internet some time to get through. Shopping for a home, because this is so important, right? Shopping for a home is so important, and you want to make sure that you do it right. Get a realtor that is willing to work with you without delegating your first-time home buying purchase to one of their sales associates. Some folks who work with me, all right, some folks who went with realtor companies had issues with the real estate agent being present at closing but not present during the home buying process. One thing I can say about my realtor, Keith James, is that he was always there, he was always professional, and he held my hand the entire way. Spending $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a home, which means you're going into debt unless you're paying all cash for the entire house, right? Is an expensive endeavor to encounter. When I first bought my home, I was debt free. So the concept of having hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt was extremely intimidating. You want a real estate agent that makes you feel comfortable about the process. But let's talk about how you select a home. All right, super important, especially as a first-time home buyer who's used to the flexibility of rent, which means that when your leasing agreement is over, you have no commitment, right? You have no commitment. It's almost like, y'all, I was about to give a little example of the handyman. No commitment. He just come over and he fix what he need to fix, and then he out there, right? But it's not commitment. It's not that husband and the wife that got to come home when she in love, and he got to come home when he not in love. It's an everyday thing. Commitment, not the handyman fly by the wayside leasing agreement. So you want to make sure that you house hack. All right, you want to make sure that you house hack. And one of the things that I learned when I was buying a home is that I knew that I wanted to buy a duplex, but I also knew that buying a duplex could happen in several different ways. I could live upstairs and my tenant could live in the basement as long as I could find a separate entrance. I could buy a duplex where there was one unit on one side and one unit on the other side. I could buy a home that had multiple bathrooms and multiple bedrooms, and I could get tenants who lived in rooms and had an assigned bathroom, and we shared a kitchen and a living space. The reason why you want to make sure that you house hack, because if anything happens throughout the 20, 30-year term of your mortgage, you want to be able to monetize your property appropriately. And the only way you do that is if you buy a home with space enough to host a tenant. My feed forward is to always make sure you buy a home that can host a tenant. So in the event you cannot pay your mortgage, you have someone else who can come in and help handle that responsibility for you. Okay? I bought a single family home that I could rent out the basement and have a basement rental. So it had a separate entrance. I'm installing a kitchen. It has a bedroom. It has a bathroom. I just brought a washer dryer unit, but it had washer dryer hookups. So that's how I was able to turn my single family home into a duplex. The last thing is you want to write down exactly what you want in a house. It's almost like if you've ever gone shopping for the right outfit, it's not, I want a dress that goes above my knees, right? Well, how far above your knees, right? Is it 2 inches? Is it 3 inches? Is it 12 inches? Or is it a coochie cutter? What is it? Right? So you want to get specific. Do you want a rancher? Do you want a two-story house? Do you want a basement? Do you want a garage? Because the thing is, the realtor is going to take what you want and they're going to put together a customized search. I highly recommend that you get on the phone with your realtor or you go to their office, put your mask on, safely socially distance, and get them to create the search after you've had a conversation. My realtor did a Zoom call with my mother and I for 40 minutes. And because of that, I was able to find my dream home the first time that we went out. That's it. We went shopping on a Friday. The offer got submitted on a Saturday. A Monday. But he submitted it on a Saturday. I think they accepted it on a Monday. Go Keith. Yes, Coalition Properties. All right. So the last thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you choose someone that, someone said, can we talk about the DC rags? I'm not in DC, sweetie, but I've seen them, child. I've seen them, and they've made me walk a little bit faster to my car. So here's the thing. You want to make sure that you choose a realtor that has a team. And what does that mean? Do they have relationships with home inspector? Do they have a relationship with the closing attorney, right? Do they have a relationship with the entity that's going to hold your earnest money deposit? Do you have a realtor who will pick up the phone at 9 o'clock at night if you have a question? Because there's some realtors that work 12 to 2. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Don't call them before lunch. Don't call them after lunch, okay? You want to make sure that you choose a realtor with availability. Now, let's keep going. My realtor had a whole team, and they made sure that they got me from point A to Z in less than 30 days. Now, the next thing is, this is how you keep more money on your pocket. You want to make sure that you have you review your mortgage application. So we're on 8. Remember, we're going to 10. We're on 8. We got 2 more. Mortgage application, right? Specifically, the loan estimate that you get back. And this estimate is going to highlight all of the different details that go into the house that you can afford, how much you will pay in fees, your earnest money deposit, right? It's going to tell you all of the different expenses that come into buying your house, right? So you can get your pre-approval. That tells you about how much you can afford. But once you've submitted an offer for your house, what's going to happen is now you have to go get your loan estimate, right? And that's going to essentially, like I said, outline what you're paying. Here are some things you want to pay attention to, because this is the difference between saving $2,000 or $3,000 before you go to closing and paying the whole shebang. First thing is lender origination fees, right? Lender origination fees. These are the fees that your lender charges you to do business with you. I thought this was what I had to pay. I saw a line item and I thought that this was fact, right? Not potential fiction, but all fact. And my mom was like, nah, son, get that lender origination fee out here. You say you're going to charge my boo what? No, get that out of here. And so I asked, can you take this off? I really like to work with you. Can you take the lender origination fees off? Removed. That was $1,200. Always try to negotiate the lender origination fees. Realtor fees. I love my realtor. My realtor got paid a handsome commission, and I absolutely love working with him, and I recommend him to anybody who is looking to work with a realtor who is 100% present. But also there are realtors who will just charge a fee. Like, so there was a fee on my particular estimate was $495. This was not even inclusive of the commission. right? So this is not the commission that you get once the house gets sold. This is just a fee for working with you. And some realtors will absolutely waive it because they see the value in you as a client and they're hoping that you refer them to other clients. Realtor is a contact sport, which means what they're looking for, right? What they're looking for is the opportunity to work with people who will refer them to other people. It's a network effect for them, right? The more people you refer, the more money they make. Ask for those realtor fees to be removed. Mine were $495. They got removed. So at this point, we're at $1,700, right, that I'm saving. You want to make sure that you lock your interest rate in. The reason why is because mortgage interest rates are changing and shifting consistently. My interest rate, 2.7. All right. But 2 weeks after I was shopping for lenders, it jumped to 3.2. Now, 3.2 interest rate might seem lower than your car loan. It definitely might seem lower than your credit cards, right? Interest rate. But 3.2% can mean paying tens of thousands of dollars over 30 years versus 2.7%, which would save me exponentially more. When you lock in a low interest rate, that allows for you for 30 days to make sure that you can get the best value possible. But some lenders will not speak to you about locking in that rate. You can even lock in a rate up to 45 days. You definitely want to do that if you're working with a credit union, because once that lock expires, then your lender will look at market rates, right? Whatever the market rate is for your mortgage. And that could be 3.5%, 3.7%. The economy is recovering, so who knows what it's going to be between now and whenever. You also want to look for prepayment penalties, right? You want to look for prepayment penalties. I had no idea that they could charge you fees for paying off your mortgage early. So if you have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which means that your interest will never change, right? It's not variable. It's not an ARM, right? Which is an adjustable rate mortgage, which means you go in at 2% and maybe 5 years later it jumps to 7%. But if you have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, they're like, you will pay me for 30 years or you will pay a fee for paying it off in the 25th year or the 15th year if you were making real boss moves paying it off in the 5th year. So you want to look for a prepayment penalty fee, which was in my paperwork, and I had it removed. So the last thing is, we're talking about, you want to look at the loan amounts, you want to look at the down payment, and you want to look at the cost of the home. Actually, the last thing I want to talk about is the cash to close, because this was a huge fight. I had to, hold on, let me pull this little ashy elbow out. I had to pull the, me and my lender, how we hugged it out at the closing table, I don't even know, because I had to pull the bows out. I said, hold the front door. I'm looking at the cash to close, and then the cash to close is showing you what percent you have to essentially pay in order to secure this the house. My cash to close was initially 7% of the overall home value, right? So we were able to negotiate based off my credit score at 3%, right? So 3% of the overarching, right, price of the home. And cash to close was all of the fees, everything that I needed to pay in order to make sure that I secured the home. Know that you can negotiate that rate, right? So mine started high and it ended low, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you can negotiate that. I paid 3%, 3% down, okay? So here's a curveball, right? Here's a curveball. You're going to have to put down an earnest money deposit. And this is going a little out of order, but I want to make sure that I'm telling you the things that people didn't tell me. Who carries checks? I use Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, credit cards, digital currency. Like, I haven't seen a check in like 10 years, unless it was on Netflix in a 90s special. But for my earnest money deposit, I either had to do a wire transfer or a check. But here's the thing about wire transfers. The homeowners are going to say, we need our earnest money deposit on this particular date. And because some of you all are on CPBP time, right? Colored people's, broke people's time, you're going to wait until the last minute. My bank had a 72-hour turnaround for a wire transfer because it was a credit union, which means they told me I needed to use a check. I had to dig in my storage for 5 hours to find one raggedy check that had a random crayon print on it. So you definitely want to make sure that you can do a wire transfer to submit your earnest money deposit, or that you have a check that you will have to take a picture of and potentially upload it to the app. I almost didn't make my deadline for the earnest money deposit, and I would have cried all my eyes out. So we're almost done, y'all. We're almost done, right? We're almost done. I'm going to go through the next few really quick. Home inspection. Make sure you attend your home inspection. Make sure you write notes like how to weatherize your house. Make sure that you understand the things that need to be fixed now versus the things that need to be fixed later. My home inspector, which was a recommendation from my realtor, was extremely thorough. And the ways in which he was thorough is he told me how to weatherize your house. Like, okay, turn this spigot to the left, turn this spigot to the right, to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right. Now, sorry, y'all, I get distracted. But he told me how to weatherize my house, right? He told me the things that I needed to get fixed. Your garbage disposal is about to die. It's going to die. Your water heater is 20 years old. These are things that you might want to fix right now. Now, there's scuffs on the wall. Those are things that you can fix later, right? So ask, what are the things you can fix now? What are the things you can fix later? On closing day, right? So here's things that I didn't know going into closing day. These are things that Gail, which is my mom, don't let her know that I called her by her first name, had to tell me. Closing day, there's going to be a stack of papers, and they're going to be like, sign this, sign that, sign this, sign that. And the person who was in my closing, he was a Q, and he was super fun, and he was super cute. And he was flirting with me the whole time. He was like, what's up, Red? I'm a Delta, right? So he wanted to, ooh, right? He wanted me to, he wanted me to throw up the mid. We were talking about our college days, and the whole time he was just, sign this, and sign that, and sign this, and sign that. But the great thing about my mom is she said that you can ask for your closing documents in advance. And that allows for you to go through what the paperwork will be, right? What are the fees? Are the fees correct? Is your name correct? Right? Is your social security number correct? Right? It allows for you to check the paperwork before you're at closing day, and things go fast, right? And the great thing about me being able to look at that paperwork before closing day is my name was misspelled. They had my mother's cell phone number in the document. My social security number was off by 1 digit, right? So you want to make sure that you look at those documents, right, ahead of time, so that if you happen to be sitting on the other side of the closing table and there's a Q throwing up the hooks, right, you can keep focused, or you can just wow out, right, because you've already looked at the documents, right? You've taken one last scan, sign, right? But you've already equipped yourself with the time that you need to get prepared. Whew. First mortgage payment. I'm almost done. First mortgage payment, right? Here's the thing that I didn't know that had me out here, right? Out here twerking on my door, my kitchen door, is that I did not know that the first mortgage payment is due at the beginning of the first full month. Child. Ooh. I'm going to say that one more time. Your first mortgage payment is due at the beginning of the first full month of a calendar year. So that means if you closed on August 30th, your first mortgage payment is not due until October 1st. So that means that is a whole month where you are not paying a mortgage, right? Where you're also hopefully getting 100% of your security deposit back, which I did as well, right? So that's additional cash in your pocket to help you with your moving expenses. Thinking about closing dates and that date as well. One thing that you want to be cognizant of is to make sure that you close closer to the end of the month for that exact reason, okay? Close closer to the end of the month, because if you close in the middle of the month, so let's say you sign your papers, right, with the Q, April 15th, or you close on April 2nd, you're going to have to pay prepaid interest for every single day of the month. So if you sign on the 15th, you will be paying interest on your home on the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, all the way up to the 30th and the 31st, depending on what the month is. That's why my mom advised that my closing date be at the end of the month, so I can reduce the amount of prepaid interest that was in my cash to close. They don't tell you that, y'all. They just say, oh, let me try to get you up into closing. Let's get into closing, right? Everybody's trying to get you to the closing table because everybody's trying to get paid. But they don't tell you close at the end of the month because they're spending your money, not their money. So again, if you and close on August 30th, your first payment is October 1st. And for some of you all, that is a blessing in disguise. Let's keep going, y'all. We on the last one. I told y'all it was 10, but it was really 13 because I know how some of y'all be. Y'all be like, oh, girl, come on, get to the point. And I've been going through this really fast. I'm going to save this live. I'm going to put it on YouTube, right? We're going to get this knowledge together. We're going to own these homes plural, together on purpose. So let's get to the 13th point. All right? Things that I didn't know. My first week in this house, I was praying to God for a husband. I said, Lord, how in the heck, because I was talking to God, how in the heck did you allow me to do all of this responsibility by myself? When you are a renter, you don't even realize how many decisions are being made by the rental property management company, right? But as a homeowner, you have to take care of all of that stuff yourself. So I'm going to tell you how the first week is living in your new home, because means only want to talk to you about buying the house. They only want to talk to you about investment properties, but they don't want to talk to you about the first week in your new home, which can be a little crazy. It was crazy for me. I shed a couple tears. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, where's the husband? Husband ain't here. I gotta put on my pull-ups, dust up the elbows. I know I had them out for the lender, but I got to get to work. So the first thing that I wish I had did before I moved into my house was I wish that I had went inside of my home at night. And I know your real estate agent might be like, you want me to meet you at your house at 9 o'clock? I can show your house at 9 a.m., but you want me to come at 9 o'clock when it's dark? Do you want me to sell you a home or go to your house at night? You will not regret it. The reason why I say that, I get that your realtor will tell you to drive around the neighborhood at night. You want to go in the house at night. Because one of the things that I didn't realize about my house is that the whole front door is glass. What does that mean? When you're in the home at night and you turn on a light, your neighbors can see all of your business, right? So like going to my home at night would have allowed me to see I needed to buy temporary blinds. I needed to make sure my door was covered, right? I needed to make sure that certain things were in place so that my first night at home could be comfortable and all of the neighbors wouldn't see my goodies, not my goodies. Shout out to Sierra. You want to make sure to transfer your light bill. You want to make sure to transfer your water bill. Some of you all, they're going to have to come to your house and come in and check your water meter. For me, I didn't know that. I had a man show up to my door, right? I had not yet covered the glass on my door window. So I tried to pretend like I wasn't home, but he could see me. So I had to answer the door so I wouldn't be rude, right? So he told me he had to come in here and check my water meter. I hadn't thought about that. I thought I just paid the water bill at my rental place. I didn't know people had to check meters. Be prepared for that. Trash pickup. Trash pickup stressed me the out. I had to go to my county's website and I had to look at when exactly I was supposed to put in the trash. I had 2 different trash cans. Some stuff went in some trash cans. Some stuff went in other trash cans. Because I had moved, I had a lot of trash. They didn't pick up trash if the trash wasn't in a can. But I only had 1 can that could accept trash and another can that could accept recycling. And they said that you couldn't put your trash cans out if it was before 6 or after 8 a.m. And I said, well, I've always been taught to pull the trash out at night. But when I looked out my window at 12 o'clock, none of my neighbors had their trash out. So I was like, y'all out here following the rules. I guess me too. So I had to get up at 6 o'clock and roll the trash out there. Both cans. I had to jump in the trash. Yes, I had to jump in the trash and make sure that all my bags fit in one of the cans. Get curtains, get temporary blinds. Understand right now that Lowe's and Home Depot are running short on temporary blinds. Right now, they have black temporary blinds, right? I Googled this. There is a nationwide shortage of temporary blinds. If you don't have temporary blinds, get temporary curtains. Toilet paper, shower curtains. These are things that you need to wipe your butt and wash your butt. Okay? Meet your neighbors. Meet them. They will be your ally. One of my neighbors, Miss D, she got me on game on trash pickup. She got me on game on the mailman. She got me on game on one of my neighbors that's had a pods container in their driveway for the past 5 months. She put me on game. I met everybody, right? I met everybody because I wanted to be part of what? The community. Security system. Make sure you have your security system installed before you move into the house, because some of you are buying a house on Friday and moving in on Saturday. Some of you all are, but I didn't move into my house until 30 days after I bought it. And so I wanted to secure my property when I wasn't there. The great thing about security companies that nobody taught me, well, actually my mom taught me, but and she matters, but I tried to teach myself. I thought I knew, I didn't. You don't know what you don't know. So you can get a security system from Best Buy, right? You can get a Ring doorbell from Best Buy. You can hire somebody on Angie's List to install it. But if you decide to go the ADT route or even the Vivint route, what you must know is that you can negotiate. All right, you can negotiate. And I always thought that when you're buying a security system, that the prices they quoted you are the prices that you had to pay. I negotiated, and I was able to get 2 cameras, one camera and 1 motion detector for what? Free. Hold on, because I ain't flipped a braid in a while. Whoop, for free. Hello. Yes, my whole backyard is being monitored, and I pay what? Nothing. Hello. So you want to make sure that you negotiate. So, move your boxes before you move yourself. It will save you a ton of money in moving, right? Some movers are going to charge you per hour. Some movers are going to charge you per boxes. Either way, you come out on top if you get the keys to your home before you move in and move all your stuff. It took me 2 weeks to move all my boxes with friends' help on the weekend and doing it myself during the week. But it also resulted in only a couple of $100s that I spent on a move. When people walked in, they were like, all we have is furniture in here. Yeah, pick it up, put it in your truck, and hurry the hell up. I'm paying for 2 hours. I ain't paying you for 3. 2 hours, 59 minutes. Let's go. Right? 1 hour, 59 minutes. Let's go. I was a political science major. I was not a math major. Don't judge me. Last thing. People don't tell you this. You want to transfer your cable 48 hours in advance if you still have cable. Yes, I still have cable. Don't judge me. I canceled it for a year. I came on right on back. Right? But if you have cable or internet, because I was going to do a Wealth Wednesday in my house on the first night, I had no what? No internet. Comcast takes 2 days to transfer service if you have Comcast, if you have Xfinity. I transferred my service online because they're like, oh, you can transfer your service online and then you don't have to worry about a tech coming out. And we got you, boo. They don't got you, boo. You want to do it 2 days in advance. Be uncomfortable in your apartment so you can be comfortable in your house, right? Have working Wi-Fi as you're unpacking your boxes. And then the final thing I want to say is you want to make sure that you don't sell your furniture before you get new furniture, because it is a nationwide furniture shortage. I was showing off to y'all in my Instagram stories, and I was, oh yeah, look, I sold my couch for hundreds of dollars. They came and picked my couch up in 24 hours. But what I didn't know is the reason why it sold so quick and people paid me more than what I probably even paid for the couch. I bought it used, so I mean, it's not really a huge flex, but it's because there's a nationwide furniture shortage. And I had to pull out all the tips and tricks, and you already know my mom was here telling me my tips and tricks in my ear, and I love her for it, to get furniture in my house within 7 days. So make sure, y'all, that as a first-time homeowner, that you don't experience the same headaches that I experienced. All right? Thank you so much for hanging out with me. These are the 13 tips that I wish that I knew as a new first-time home buyer and a first-week homeowner. And I want to thank the nearly 700 people who were in the room tonight for Black Wealth Wednesdays, for Wealth Wednesdays. And you can catch a replay of this on my YouTube. Until next Wednesday, remember, you win or you learn. You only lose if you quit. I love you. Bye. Then when there's nothing there, come on, Luther, but gloom.